how to do this swiftly. Hi beauties! Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jacob. This is my YouTube channel where I'm gonna post videos about whatever I want to post. So I'm back. My last video upload went a lot better than previous uploads. As you can tell, I'm doing my second video in a month. If you guys are interested in this look, I did just post a TikTok. If you aren't following me over there already, you should go check it out. Came back to show you guys basically how I depot anything that I'm not using anymore. I talked a little bit about it in my collection video, going through some things, saw some palettes that I wasn't using very much, and saw some shades that could use some revamping. This is going to be my first voiceover, so hopefully that goes well. So in the video, I'm gonna go over how I depot anything that I'm not using, zhuzh it up, and add it to my singles. I'm gonna stop talking and we're gonna get right into the depotting process. So just starting off, I'm gonna show you guys what I use for my liquid base here. It's a 99.5% glycerin. I found this at Target. I also bought some 91% alcohol, and lastly some aloe vera gel. I would say this is something you could skip. It's definitely not necessary, but it does give the shadow some squish. Here I'm just going to show you with this empty rose hip seed oil dropper what I do to mix it all together. I'm going to take about 15 drops of the glycerin. After I get the glycerin in, I'm going to drop 1 drop of the aloe vera gel. You can kind of see it get stuck on the side there, but I do get it down in there with the spatula. And then I just fill up the rest of the bottle with alcohol, trying to leave some room at the top so I can mix it all together once I get the cap screwed on. But if you do fill it up too much, just grab a paper towel and clean up your mess, just like I'm doing here. And then we're just going to shake the bottle until we see the glycerin and the aloe vera dissolve in the alcohol. Now I'm just going to show you guys my mixing tools. I have a metal spoon, a metal spatula, and a silicone spatula. I'd recommend getting some kind of glass or metal palette, but I'm going to use a bowl here. I have my mixing medium, some empty pans just in case, and something to press the shadow with once I'm done. So when depotting the Little Twin Stars Sugar Pill palette here, I am basically just destroying the cardboard packaging. You can see one shadow is already missing there where that sticker is, but I still wasn't getting any use out of the palette, so I want to try to revamp some of these shades and get some more use out of this. So just going around all the edges, sticking my sharp end of the spatula in wherever I can and wiggling until I can get the glue loose from the cardboard packaging. And once I have done that all around the edges, you can see it's pretty easy to tear away from the mirror packaging that holds it in there. Now I'm just going to take the sharp edge and again go between the layers of cardboard until I can kind of begin to tear away at it. That'll make it a little bit easier for me to get to the metal pans that hold the shadow. Here I was trying to get at the back packaging where you can kind of see the edges, but it wasn't giving me a lot of give, so I just went back to scratching and scoring the edges, and here you can kind of see that paying off where I'm able to tear away that first top layer of cardboard that had all the shade names and the colorful decorative packaging. So once I have that removed, it is going to be a lot easier for you to get at the metal pans that hold the shadow, like I said earlier, but you will see me begin to just wiggle the spatula under the metal pan, trying to get the pan and the glue separated from the packaging itself until I feel it's loose enough to just pull away. But it is going to take some movement and some wiggle room, so just keep going at it until you feel it giving, keeping an eye on the shadow, making sure it's not popping up or breaking on you. But once that's done, as you can see, it's pretty easy to pull away. This pink pan was giving me a little bit of trouble. I think it's because it's a little bit more matte than the rest of these shimmer shades. So I'm going to try and remove more of the cardboard here around it, again just to make it easier for my spatula to be more level when it's going underneath the metal pan that holds the shadow. In my experience, I do feel mattes tend to break easier than shimmer shades when you are depotting them. I'm really not sure why, but just take your time, be patient. Even though we are going to be repressing these, I don't want to lose any product that I don't have to. Again, just trying to pry away at the layers of the cardboard packaging here to hopefully get a better level on my spatula. And I finally got the decorative packaging to come completely off of this first layer. You can kind of see that this palette is pretty old. The glue here is pretty dried up. I feel like that's why you'll see I'm able to just peel away most of the cardboard from the back of the metal pans. With newer palettes, the glue might be fresher, so it'll be a little bit more sticky and less easy to remove from the back of the pan. I always think it's smart to keep some alcohol nearby just to clean up the backs of the pans, making sure when you put them into their new palette, they're nice and clean, but also to hopefully clean your tools as you go, which you'll see soon I do forget to do. But just getting this pink shadow out of the packaging is proving to be a little bit more difficult than the shimmer shades, but I think it's just because the cardboard is really stuck to this one. You'll see I have to kind of rip the cardboard out and then tear it away from the pan. Just sliding my spatula, you can see it's going underneath that layer of cardboard there, getting more of that pan out from the packaging, but just gonna try to tear away some more of this cardboard. And that does look to be the last layer of that cardboard in there, so that should make these last three pretty easy to pop right on out. And there you can kind of see the cardboard packaging is getting stuck, so I'm just holding it down while I gently pull away the shadow from the packaging. I was getting pretty scared I was going to lose this pink shadow, but I'm happy to report she made it out successfully. Just had to press down a little bit to keep that powder from going anywhere. So as I said, these last two shadows are going to be pretty easy now that I have majority of that cardboard packaging removed. So I'm just going to slide my spatula under them until they come loose. So now I have all the shadows out of their original packaging. Like I said, I'm going to clean these up with an alcohol wipe real quick. I do try to swatch the shades before I repress them, but I do forget to do that with a few of them. I apologize now. But again, I forgot to clean off my tools, so we'll throw this away, but wanted to repress this matte blue shade Star Ribbon in hopes of getting it to work. I started to add my mixing medium, and that's when I noticed that the product was getting stuck to my spatula, and I thought that was really weird, so I realized that, oh no, I did not clean this, and now there could possibly be all this glue stuck to the shadow, and it's just ruined, so I ended up tossing that. Moving right into the next shade, Sky Candy, the pink shade. We're gonna get everything into the bowl, out of the pan. I'm gonna clean that pan just so that it's all ready for once I'm done mixing this up. I like to crush the pigment into as small pieces as I can. Then I'm just really eyeballing my mixing medium. I am looking for the consistency to not be too runny, but not be too thick. I want it to be almost like whipped cream, where it's going to be kind of stiff, but definitely not solid. So once I like the consistency where it's at, I'm going to scrape everything off of my mixing spatulas, and I'm going to prepare my pan, and then I'm just going to scrape all of that into the pan. And once I have the shadow in the pan, I'm going to use my silicone spatula to smooth that all out. And once I have that where I like it, mainly just covering all the edges, I'm going to drop this on the table just to hopefully get out any air bubbles. This is the process you'll see repeated for the next few shades that I repress here. I'm going to start with Twinkle Twinkle, and I'm going to mix Wish, the darker copper shade here. I feel like mixing them is going to give it a little bit more dimension and make it a little bit more fun for me to use in the future. So again, just making those pieces as small as I can before I add my mixing medium, getting that to a good consistency. And then you'll see that I do split this before I drop it into the pan, just making sure I scrape everything into the center where I'm going to be making the drop. So here is the first half just dropped into the eyeshadow pan. This is just the shades Twinkle Twinkle and Wish, so I haven't added any extra pigments or anything yet. Now I'm going to be adding in the Magical Makeup Pixie Powder. This is a loose pigment that I picked up from Magical Makeup UK. It is a beautiful green. It has kind of a maroon base, but the sparkle in it is very pretty. So just going to add that in there to give it some extra shine and hopefully a little bit of a flip. Here you can see I'm trying to show off that color flip, but hopefully you'll be able to see it more while I mix it. It didn't really turn out to be that big of a flip, but it definitely is different from the other shade you'll see in the swatches a little bit later. So here I did finally remember to swatch the shades before I destroyed them and repressed them. The first shade I swatched there is the shade Cloudmaker, followed by Dream Dust. So going in with Cloudmaker first, I wanted to try something new, and instead of adding pigments, I'm going to take two different kinds of flakes. First, I have Ocean from Eyeshine Cosmetics, and the second was Angel Tears from Magical Makeup. Now that that is all mixed and leveled, going into Dream Dust, I'm going to add Moonbeam from Magical Makeup, Orchid, and Lemonade from Eyeshine Cosmetics. So getting those all mixed together, adding in my mixing medium, and then we're just going to add that to the eyeshadow pan. Now getting into an unmentionable highlighting palette that I wanted to repress. If you watched my collection video, you heard me talk about possibly doing this, so here we are. I'm taking Cleo, the loose highlight from Juvia's Place, and just adding that into this white highlight shade, hopefully to make it a little bit better to match my skin tone at least. Got it all in the eyeshadow pan, just gonna smooth it out. There is a lot of product in these, so just keep that in mind. Next is the green shade from the highlighting palette, and with this I added in the Eyeshine Loose Pigment Tinkerbell. So I just plopped the rest of that in there, and got that all mixed together. I love this pigment, it's so beautiful. It has a kind of blue, yellow, gold, green flip, so I was hoping to just add to the green glow that this one already has. Next is the yellow highlighting shade, And for this, I wanted to add the Magical Makeup Loose Pigment in Aurora Nude. I thought it would be a great complement because it has a great yellow-orange flip to it. So just getting it to that moussey texture and then getting it into the eyeshadow pan. Now we're going to be going into the pink shade, and to this shade I'm adding the Glamournatrix Loose Highlight in the shade Allure. Jumping right into the purple shade, I'm adding the Loose Pigment Aurora Blue from Magical Makeup Cosmetics. And then just mixing that all up, and into the eyeshadow pan she goes. Lastly, for the unmentionable highlighters, I'm going to be adding Magical Makeup Loose Pigment in Aurora Ocean, and then also some JD Glow Flakes in the shade Raven. So just mixing that all up. Those flakes are so pretty. I can't wait to see how this turns out. It looks so pretty in the pan. I could not waste any of it. The last thing I'm going to repress is something again I talked about in my collection video. This Black Moon Cosmetics highlight in the shade Glowworm. I'm not adding anything extra, just wanting to give her a good repress with my mixing medium formula. I just felt like she was a little too stiff. So now you're seeing me after about 24-48 hours going in with a empty pigment pan that I had and the palette that these highlighters came out of. This is just to make sure the powder is pressed into the pan and hopefully absorb any excess liquid that is left over after that amount of time drying out. But yeah, just pressing these with the paper towel in between. And now I'm going to do the after swatches. The first shade here is the yellow shade from the highlighting palette. Next up is the icy lavender shade from the highlighting palette. Then we're going into the green shade. Next is the icy white shade. And you can kind of see with my fingerprints left in the pans that aloe vera gel does give the shadows a little bit of bounce now. And lastly, from the highlighting palette, the deeper lavender shade. I did actually forget the pink shade, but that will be coming up later. So going into the Little Twin Stars X Sugar Pill, that is the new Dream Dust. Next is the new Cloudmaker. Now we're gonna look at Sky Candy. Then we're going to look at Twinkle Twinkle and Wish mixed together. These are just the original shades, nothing else added. And now we're going to look at the new shade that I created. And here they all are, all swatched out. Again, I did miss the pink shade from the highlighting palette, and I'm also going to do the Glowworm highlighter that I repressed. So here is Glowworm from Black Moon Cosmetics, just repressed. It's already giving me so much more payoff than it did before, so I'm thinking that it was a smart idea to do this. And lastly, that pink shade from the Unmentionable Highlighter palette. This one I really like, it came out really great. Okay, beauties, so that was the depotting process that I go through to get all these single shadows out of their pans. And like I said, this is the Unmentionable palette that I repressed. Hopefully it's not blinding you, but yeah, I was able to pretty much depot all the pans and then just using some super glue or some hot glue, pop those right back into the palette. Yeah, so if you're able to do that and not completely destroy the palette like I did with this one, it'll definitely save you some money not having to invest into a new magnetic palette just for the singles that you depotted. But if you do just destroy the palette, hopefully you have a magnetic palette handy. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like and a thumbs up down there. I would really appreciate it. And if you guys stuck around, thank you so much. I also appreciate you guys being here and all the support. In my next video, I'm going to deep dive into the new Kimchi and Trixie Mattel collection. I have been waiting to get my hands all over it since I got it in the mail yesterday. So that video should be coming up next. Hopefully it won't be too long to edit, but knowing myself, I don't want to set myself up for failure. So we'll just say it'll be coming. Look out for that. Otherwise, thank you again, guys. I hope you're having a great night or day wherever you are. Just stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. No. Bye. Ugh. And I will see you in the next one. I didn't like that at all. We'll go one more time. Maybe. A little while.
What was I saying?
I think he can hear me.
So,
Yeah, I've said that.
I'm not sure what it's about yet, but we're working our way through it.
I'm rambling now.
If you guys have stuck around, you're wanting no.
What do I want to try?
Alrighty, beauties, so no. Alrighty, beauties.
That's what I think.
I feel really pretty right now. So pretty.
Oh. That's the next video over there. I hope I wasn't looking at myself the entire time. Definitely saves you some coin, just not having to invest in a magnetic palette. Having to invest in a magnetic. Why can't I talk? I just want to talk. Get your shit together, girl. Get it together. It should not be taking this long. In my next video, I'm probably going to dive. No.
Not in my next video. Probably. Not probably. It's happening, ho.
It's just me, or am I? Okay.
In my next video, I'm going to deep dive into the new Trixie Mattel. In my next... No. Could you please calm down? Thank you.